Hello there. Basically, I promised I was going to do a video on the clans on the last vid. Well, I didn't exactly promise, but I said I was going to, so obviously I feel like I have to deliver on that to prove myself in order to gain subscribers. But I kind of rambled myself into a hellhole for like 44 minutes or something like that, and only managed to cover 2 of the clans before I had to go do something. So yeah, I'll release the video, but this doesn't cover all the clans, and I'll have to make something else soon to remedy that. But my latest History of the Skaven video incidentally covers the other 2 clans, at least their kind of origin story, and tells you some things about them. So combined with this shitstorm of rambling for a very long time, something like 40 minutes, and my new Skaven video, you have some amount of information about all of the clans. So hopefully that'll help you out for now on, and temporarily I mean, until I can make a more concise and higher quality video about all of the clans. But I thought some of you might enjoy this, I don't know, but yeah, just to explain what this is so you're not like fucking confused once you start listening to it. So yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, this is all we have at the minute for a video on the clan. But yeah, don't feel obliged to watch this if you don't like long videos, and what can I say? If you want more, you're just gonna have to come to fucking England and shank me with a rubber spoon, because no weapons are legal here. But yeah, wait until the weekend though and I'll cook something up. Peace out, boys. Now, it's come to my attention that I'm going to have to make a video on the different clans of the Skaven, at least the 4 great clans, and I'll throw in a little extra in there just about the other smaller clans, because there's 4 main clans, and then the other clans known as the Warlord clans. They're just kind of the basic tiny little ones. But the 4 main clans together kind of control what goes on, and they each have a seat on the Council of 13, so they're the most important. But yeah, let me roll through them and I'll give you a couple facts about different ones. You've heard a couple mentions of them in the Skaven History of the Skaven videos, so this is why I thought I would have to make this video, in case you're confused when it talks about the machines of Clan Skryre. You might not know what it's talking about, so I thought I'd make this video to explain the clans and their different specialities and their different responsibilities within the Skaven Empire. So, Clan Moulder. They're one of the 4 great Skaven clans, and they specialise in breeding and mutating and just genetically enhancing different animals to create war beasts to unleash upon the enemy as a kind of shock troops. They're one of the wealthiest clans, and they kind of rent their monsters out to different other clans for use in war, or just as pets and stuff, as like status symbols.
Yes, Lord Critic. For a treaty pledge of just 200 slaves, 12 claws of warp tokens, a breeder, and certain alliances and pledges, one of our very, very finest Clan Moulder rat ogres can be yours.
Right, so that was some little bit of audio I managed to capture of a Skaven Clan Moulder haggle master talking to a warlord trying to sell off some rat ogres to him. These rat ogres come from the Clan Moulder stronghold known as Hell Pit that lies deep within the Northern Waste. And if you know anything about the Warhammer world, the Northern Waste is one of the places where the Chaos portals are, where the influence of Chaos is strongest in the world, near the different poles. And there's actual portals far up in the Northern Waste that demons and other stuff like that can just walk straight out of the alternate dimension that the chaos energy comes from into the world. I need to do a video about chaos in general, so let's take that noted. But anyway, the north is completely chaos infested. Once you're getting into anywhere that's known as the wastes, the chaos wastes in the north are just completely fucked. You've got a few tribes of kind of Vikingish kind of marauder type people, and most of them worship the chaos gods directly or indirectly through another kind of god that just has similar values to the Chaos gods. And there's demons, there's loads of mutated beasts around, and the Chaos gods have an immense amount of power there compared to further down, closer to the equator, shall we say. Taking this into account, we also have to take into account the fact that Hell Pit is infested with warpstone. There's a crazy amount of warpstone that's just rife where the Skaven are actually living there. And this makes the Skaven pretty fucking mutated just as a base. Stories are told of Skaven mutants that fly the banners of Clan Moulder, their bodies warped, twisted and armoured, surgically altered or hideously transformed. The Master Moulders tinker with the anatomies of creatures in much the same way that Clan Skryre's Warlock engineers fiddle with mechanical war machines, and the end results of these biological experiments are often just as terrifying. Giant rats and rat ogres are just two awful examples of Clan Moulder's ingenuity. Clan Moulder are very much favoured by the Council of 13, because the beasts they create are incredibly valuable, not only for their battle prowess as in just straight up fighting power, but also the morale benefits of these, as you can imagine, are incredible, because they're gonna scare the shit out of anyone that comes against them. I mean, if you imagine the fear that was created in people that were fighting against elephants for the first time, you can imagine the fear that's created when you're faced with some kind of beast that's just not even a species, it's just some kind of genetically engineered, mutated monster. Another reason the Council of 13 likes Clan Moulder is the fact that they make these warp salves out of their warpstone, and which I guess is something that they discovered whilst they were mutating all these different animals that they've captured in the north, and they can heal wounds with them and just generally improve someone's body even if they're not ill. So the members of the Council of 13, some of them have lived for hundreds of years, which is completely unnatural for a Skaven, and they've extended their lives with these huge applications of these warpstone cells. Basically like a drug at this point, just keeping them ticking, because they've gained so much power that they can just keep buying more and more of it. So as well as just huge giant rats that they whip into people's lines that are about the size of a big dog, so they basically use them as warhounds, and sometimes mutate extra heads onto them and stuff like that. But they're self-explanatory, so I won't go into them too much. But also we have the rat ogres, and rat ogres are huge beasts that are bigger than humans, much bigger than humans, and they're super strong basically, and they'll just rip with their bare hands through whole units of infantry. No two of these are the same, it's important to stress. Like they'll always graft, as in like just surgically attach different bits of metal to their arms, or mutate extra arms. If you pay a bit more extra warpstone tokens, they'll do stuff like that for you. It's like getting a new car, you know, you can just pick your attachments if you got the moolah. And so no two of these are the same, but they all are about 10 foot tall and just absolutely crazy. They breed them for aggression, obviously. They just kind of chuck them in a pit, and whichever ones survive they know are the good ones for their use. And so yeah, they send them in packs, and they're supervised by teams of packmasters, which are these dudes with whips that control all of the beasts of Clan Moulder. And once unleashed, as they're bred for this crazy amount of aggression, they just begin to rip and tear anything that they whip them towards. They move with quite a lot of speed, but once they hit the enemy, they will just tear through infantry very easily. But obviously they're not actually a proper organism. They've just been kind of blasphemously warped into a machine of war, and so after a battle the packmasters actually have to, as quickly as possible, restrain them and get them under control and in cages and stuff, because they will just start eating each other and just fucking, like, apparently at the height of their rabid fury, rat ogres have been known to rip and devour chunks of their own flesh, as if they sought to tear apart the monstrosity that Clan Moulder has made the creature into. Like, it's just supremely fucked. But yeah, they're not a proper organism. So obviously they're just this kind of one-dimensional hell beast that needs to be kind of applied in a certain way. But if you do that right, then it's very effective. But you can see how there's certain ways that this could go wrong. Like if you if your rat ogres manage to like come loose while your army's just camped or something like that, you know, or if you the pack masters get killed and then the rat ogres just like rampage through your army, just ripping apart all your clan rats. That's pretty bad. Also, it's important to note that there's a rat ogre bone breaker, which is basically an upgraded version that's much larger and more specialized. They are physically larger, being twice in size and muscle mass, which is retarded. It would be 20 foot tall. I'm not sure if it's twice in height or if we're just talking like weight. And they can be grafted with a palanquin, I think that's how you say this, from which a Skaven warlord can literally ride into battle. That's fucking crazy. I've got to try and get some art for that. The Rat Ogre Bonebreaker is one of Clan Moulder's specially engineered variant breeds. The Bonebreaker strain is created by taking an augmented Rat Ogre and submerging the stitched monstrosity in a vat of growth agents for months. It takes thousands of slaves dying horrible deaths to produce enough growing juices to fill the vat, but it is easily offset by the asking price for the muscle-bound behemoths. When it emerges from its forced chemical immersion, the Bonebreaker is a prestigiously proportioned rat ogre, so bulked out that its upper body is hunched over, straining to contain such massed brawn. A braced platform, strapped or bolted onto the creature's back, allows a warlord to ride atop a rat ogre bonebreaker. When mounted atop such a beast, a warlord becomes pride-swollen and behaves more arrogantly than ever. So they're kind of hunched over like gorillas, which is fucking crazy. So they are kind of like elephants. They just kind of crawl into battle like that. Now we have the Hell Pit Abomination. The greatest and most horrific monstrosity the Skaven of Clan Moulder have ever created. This creature is a mountain of misshapen flesh that moves in a rippling tide of unnatural spasms, writhing worm-like and using its many limbs to pull and drag its hideous bulk forward. Various mechanical bits, such as wheels, cogs and fluid pumps, have been grafted onto the beast to ensure it moves at optimal speed and that the warpstone mutated growth agents are regularly injected into the beast's hyper-fast metabolism. Oh. A multitude of heads dart out of the lump and mound of muscle and bone at the behemoth's fore. The heads that snake out are all vermin-like, but some glisten hairlessly like unborn rat monstrosities. Many have eyes, but no few are blind, twisting and craning to catch the scent of prey, hissing and snapping at the air with razor-sharp incisors. In battle, an abomination is sent loose towards the enemy as an unstoppable juggernaut. Many foes will flee from the unnatural sight of a hell pit abomination long before the creatures get loose. With a horrifying slither and shamble, the creature propels itself across the battlefield, rearing up to a towering height before it hits the enemy line like a thunderbolt. The vast, boulder-sized fists smash aside shield walls and send foes flying, while hungry jaws snap and greedily devour the broken victims. Once in combat, the Hell Pit Abomination is relentless, dragging its bulk onwards to crush any in its wake. Hell Pit Abominations are notoriously hard to slay, and there are accounts of beasts visibly healing wounds, regrowing severed limbs, and rising from the dead to attack again. Oh, fuck, that's disgusting. Yeah, that's pretty grimy stuff. The art is actually so much more disgusting than the tabletop figure. But, yeah, if you just imagine how that thing moves, it's pretty horrible. But I think this thing would be pretty vulnerable to cannonballs. Can we say that? We can pretty safely say that, can't we? Like if it's really slow and needs all these wheels and shit to keep it going, and it's pretty big. So if I was the Empire commander, I would just say shoot cannons. Focus that one down, boys. But yeah, obviously that would you'd probably just run away against this thing. It's pretty disgusting. So this is just kind of like their their kind of special fun day at the Clan Moulder office, you know? Just kind of got creative and released all their inhibitions. And just so, next on the list we have Clan Skryre. And this clan has definitely been mentioned already, so I think we're going to be slightly familiar with these ones. These are the dudes that helped to break apart the dwarven shield walls with their machines. They use a combination of arcane magic and technology to create their weaponry. Their members, known as Warlock engineers, are inventors but also magicians, calling on the winds of magic to bless their deadly weaponry.
Skryre's most powerful engineers meld sorcery and science until the two are indivisible. These individuals are called Warlock engineers, and they are more akin to walking arsons than to Skaven. Warp energy crackles from the blades that emerge from the flesh of their arms, and their rat-like bodies are covered in all manner of bizarre artifice. Tubes and wires pulse and buzz with a holy light as they connect the engineer to his harness, its fantastic apparatus. Fearful and horrible indeed is the Skryre's technology, which allows such an unholy alliance of flesh and machine.
Stefan Pallas Edelhoff, scholar of Wolfenburg. So Clan Skryre aren't as rich as Clan Moulder, but they are one of the most influential and powerful of the great clans, because they have so much weapons under their command. And like the Clan Moulder with their aberrations and abominations, they rent out their weapons to other clans. So as you may well know, Clan Skryre's machines proved invaluable in fighting against the dwarves, because the dwarves used to group together in shield walls to defend choke points, which were easy pickings for artillery, but hard to take down with just standard swarms and swarms of clan rats, which is the kind of bread and butter of the Skaven war machine. But even in peacetime, not that there is much peacetime in the Skaven Under Empire, but even in a non-combatant role, Clan Skryre is very influential and profitable to the Council of 13. The Far Squeaker, for example, allows the Council to communicate with its agents in the field, like a walkie-talkie. And this is when you're starting to realise how advanced the Skaven actually are in comparison to the other races. In addition, Skryre maintains the Warp Rail, a system of tracks and warp-powered transport cars, allowing fast subterranean transport of troops and equipment. There's also powerful machines used to mine tunnels and move rocks and soil away after the tunnels collapse sometimes, that are also designed by Clan Skryre. So yeah, the Skaven are really fucking technologically advanced. They just have the slight problem of their technology blowing up in their faces sometimes, but that's not actually much of a problem for the Skaven, and perhaps if they weren't so numerous, they would refine their machines more so that that didn't happen. But they don't actually really give a shit about that, because I believe they use slaves to test the weapons anyway, and numbers are really just not a factor for them. They have no compassion as well as that, so they know that a couple Skaven dying from misfires isn't much of a problem, and they don't care. Is the the magical combination that means they're not going to really fix that, I don't think. But they have railways, some kind of radio or walkie-talkie, and digging machines, and advanced firearms that are better than these kind of like muskets that these other people are using. They even have a rattling gun. I'm going to go into some of their weapons now, but let's start off with the rattling gun. A multi-barreled whirling death-dealing machine known as the rattling gun is one of the clan Skryre's newest inventions. So successful and deadly is this piece of machinery to the other warlord clans that Clan Skryre will always run out of rattling guns long before they run out of customers to sell them to. The mechanism starts with an external ammo pack held by one Skaven, from which the loader will crank the lever to allow the gun to spin while the gunner aims the shot. So they have a machine gun. Okay? Let's process that for a minute. Also, they have flamethrowers. So these warp fire throwers will just throw out these massive gouts of greenish flame that they produce with the warpstone somehow, which I suppose you're realizing at this point is just kind of like a catch-all magic resource that the Skaven use. It's kind of like uranium, but like magic uranium. And they just use it for everything. Something that the humans need to start actually applying, I think, if they're going to beat the evil forces in this game. But yeah, so that creates these massive like gouts of flame, and it's another weapons team. The rattling gun and the warp fire thrower all come under the term of weapons team, which are these close range weapons that the Skaven engineers use to deploy to the front, and they'll take a couple lower ranking, I would assume, engineers that are kind of expendable, and they kind of two-man team these weapons right to the front, attached to units of clan rats in the tabletop game. So they'll be right on the front line, kind of dipping around the side of the unit to just go and mow down people until their weapon misfires or something. And another weapons team, the Poisoned Wind Mortar, which is some kind of gas-launching mortar that they have. We've talked about the Poisoned Wind Globes in the History of the Skaven series, which are these like glass kind of spheres that are hollow, with the poisoned gas inside. There are other platoons that are the Poisoned Wind Globadiers who just kind of lob them at like a grenade kind of range, which I suppose have a better fire rate, and there's more people in the unit as well, so they can kind of be a bit more mobile and pump out a lot more gas a lot quicker. But the advantage of the Poisoned Wind Mortar is that as you have one Skaven with the mortar on their back and another one loading it, you can shoot the flippin' globes really far to attack the archers or whatever behind the enemy lines, and actually not friendly fire if you want to, so that's good. Also we have the Warp Grinder, which is I'm going to put it under the umbrella of a weapons team, but it's not really a weapon. First and foremost anyway, it's more of a digging machine, but it's like a smaller variant of the actual massive digging machines that they use to hollow out the tunnels for the armies to move through. This is like a kind of baby version that they use to split up the tunnels and attack from multiple directions. It's a two-man team, and it's basically like a drill with a warpstone tip on the end to clear out small tunnels for little platoons of Skaven to come up and attack from different angles, because you don't want to all be coming out of one massive tunnel that they can just form a phalanx of pikes around or something like that to keep you back. As well as this, we have the Jezils, which are like highly powered muskets that are not even muskets anymore. They are described as rifles and snipers. So these are highly accurate firearms that are more advanced than anything the dwarfs or the humans have in terms of firearms, and have very, very high damage. They shoot warpstone bullets. Once again, warpstones just kind of good at whatever whatever they decide to use it for. But yeah, I suppose because warpstones basically has some kind of radiation. If you even just had like a chip of warpstone in you, it'd probably make you very sick and perhaps kill you if you didn't take it out of your flesh. But very armor piercing apparently, and very high damage, so I won't knock that, and very accurate and long range. So these two-man teams, if you've ever seen Jarhead, this is my rifle. I am nothing without it, and it is nothing without me, or something. That is these guys, basically. These two-man teams where one is a spotter and one is the shooter, and they snipe down key targets, or at least that is the most effective way to use them. Now we're on to the huge machines of Clan Skryre, like the Warp Lightning Cannon, which is described as the very pinnacle of Skaven ingenuity, a marvel of both magical and scientific engineering. It's a huge cannon that shoots warp lightning, which is this green electrical magical lightning bolt that is derived from warpstone somehow. And it can still malfunction or whatever, but this is like their huge artillery piece that they will knock down castle walls with and stuff like that. So if you get this in the Total War game rather, this should be able to knock down walls, and it will have hugely impactful hits that can just chunk out huge swathes of infantry units and stuff like that. Next up in the big machines is the doomwheel. At first sight, the doomwheel may look less menacing and even comical compared to the other war machines of the Skaven, but those who have faced one in battle know full well of its prowess. The design of the machine is so simple and yet so complex, so utterly Skaven in its inception that it is well but not beyond the understanding of even the top minds at Newland's College of Engineers. Newland is the empire city that has the most tradition and culture of making cannons and other kind of machines like that. I think they have the most links with the dwarves as well, which is not a coincidence. The treadmill-like design is meant to allow the machine to rumble at the enemy at full speed, made possible by the two Skaven powering the treadmill inside. This in turn creates electricity needed to activate the attached warpstone generator, which will fire bolts of lethal warp lightning at their foe. If their shots don't kill you, then the great iron-reinforced wheels with spikes will. So, this is essentially like a tank. Like a First World War tank, but with better weapons. And probably about as reliable. A huge wheel that will just crush you. And I like how the wheel actually powers the warp lightning generator as well. So it's kind of got a mini warp fire thrower. Not warp fire thrower, what are we calling it? Warp lightning cannon on the front of it. But it's also mobile and can just run people over. The dwarfs, who have suffered many wars against the Skaven. Notice how it says suffered here. As in, not just like fought wars, suffered wars against the Skaven, know full well the doomwheel's measure, and will direct every war machine at their disposal to blast the deadly wheel apart before it can churn close enough to pulverize the dwarf battle lines. Indeed, dwarf cannons will allow themselves to be overrun by the foe, willingly sacrificing themselves for their hold in order to get a single shot at the infernal Skaven device. Perhaps a little bit of envy here from the dwarves, as they pride themselves in their ability to engineer these kind of things. But something like this is kind of almost blasphemous to them, as well as annoying that it's so effective against them. Because the dwarfs, tying into their whole idea of pride and stubbornness that is kind of their fatal flaw, as well as their strength that makes them so solid in like a battle line, is their whole kind of resolute idea that their machines need to be tested for a crazy amount of time before they're actually used, because they want to believe that all they really need is an axe to sort their enemies out. An axe and kind of like willpower and courage. So they do have a lot more advanced machines that are just kind of in the production line being tested for like a really stupid amount of time. But they don't actually have them mass produced. So something like the Skaven machines that are really unreliable, but you know, they just put them straight out onto the battle line as soon as they know they can kill some shit. That's is definitely applicable to say blasphemy to the dwarves, because it's kind of just the exact opposite of their whole philosophy on engineering. And it must be pretty fucking annoying that these kind of things are destroying their shield walls. The rats inside the wheel, which are these ones that are running the wheel to make it go round and round, are fed stimulant drugs before the battle, and driven into an insane frenzy by the lightning flashing and sparking around them. As they tumble over each other, the wheel rumbles forward, but the doomwheel's speed is impossible to control accurately. Sometimes it will roll along more swiftly than a galloping horse, and at other times it will virtually halt because the rats are temporarily exhausted. Though it can be said that the warpstone reactor is somewhat unstable, and the speed generated by the rats is rather erratic, a series of tests using slave units as targets has yielded impressive results. Now the clan Skryre Warlock engineers are building this new wonder weapon as fast as possible, so it's very new, cutting edge kind of shit coming out here. But it makes me laugh how they drug up these Skaven inside the wall to make them super fast or whatever. And the Skaven seem to have this kind of strange mental situation which comes into the game in other ways on the tabletop. But like I've said before, they have this rank bonus where every rank, which is the lines horizontally of troops in a regiment, every rank deep their unit is, they get more morale. So they have this kind of herd, or rather swarm mentality when they become braver when they know there's more Skaven around them to fight. They have an instinctive swarming mentality. Whereas I guess humans have kind of like an instinctive tribe mentality where we think we feel braver the more kind of confidence we have in the people's abilities that are around us, and the you know, well, it's a similar thing to the Skaven, but the Skaven are completely cowardly without this kind of reassurance. The Warlock engineers and Skaven that are involved with these machines get a similar kind of buzz off being in these machines. Like if you listen to this. At the centre of the contraption sits a Warlock engineer who pilots the mad creation. Sitting inside the mighty death-dealing artifice of destruction, puffs the Warlock engineer so full of bold reassurance that the otherwise dubious courage of his race is, at least, partially offset. Doubtlessly, the wafting fumes from the warpstone generator bolster the engineer's confidence as well. So yeah, I suppose the increased courage of these Skaven that are involved with these machines could also just be because of the warpstone gas exhaust that's coming out of these machines as well. But yeah, it seems to have the same effect psychologically as being in a big unit of Skaven warriors, is being in this massive death-dealing machine that they know is giving them power. So I guess this is their justification for giving weapons or contraptions like this quite high morale, because the Skaven get drunk on power, which does really fit in with this whole kind of psychological profile that we have at the minute of the Skaven, as these like power-mad psychopaths that are just completely self-centered and want as much power for themselves as possible, as quickly as possible. The doomwheel was invented by perhaps the most insanely talented of all Warlock engineers, the mad genius Ikit Claw, the infamous Chief Warlock of Clan Skryre. The Chief Warlock is obsessed with creating the ultimate killing machine, determined one day to outdo his predecessors who enjoyed the easy successes of warp fire throwers, Jezziels, Screaming Bells and the rest. I'll do Screaming Bells after this. I didn't realise they're not a Clan Skryre unit, but I suppose they were invented by Clan Skryre. By harnessing the power of raw warpstone to create energy discharges, Ikit Claw has created a terrifying engine of destruction that rolls forward, surrounded by a crackling halo of purple warp lightning. Anything foolish enough to hold its ground before this infernal machine is blasted apart by the warp lightning or crushed under the doomwheel itself. So this is probably my favourite Skaven war machine. Right down from the shape of it, the whole idea that it's a massive wheel, like a hamster wheel, and they're fucking rodents. Right down to the drugged up Skaven inside that are on like stimulants. Probably something like meth is what they're on. I hear the US military used to give meth to its pilots or something like that in the Second World War. Or its soldiers. Something like that. You can Google it and it will come up. I'm sure of it. And even the engineer on top that is getting drunk with power by the fact that he's controlling the machines and huffing on the exhaust. Yeah, it's awesome. So this has got my seal of approval, this unit. This would be incredible to use in the game. So I suppose they're going to have to add some kind of nerfing for it that comes in the form of its not being that reliable. So it seems like on the tabletop you would have to roll a dice to see how much movement this machine has. Like it was describing earlier. Sometimes as swift as a galloping horse, sometimes it will virtually halt because the rats are temporarily exhausted. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with this to make it a little bit RNG. Maybe it will come in the form of a special ability that it uses that gives it like a boost, and that gives it like a cavalry kind of move speed. And then once that wears out, it's kind of down in like an infantry walking speed. That could be quite good because you'd have to time your bursts with it. But pure RNG isn't usually that popular in games. I can see how it could be fun in the tabletop game, although very frustrating if you're against a cocky bastard that's you're having bad luck against. But yeah, I'm kind of dubious about them putting straight up RNG into the game, so I hope it's something like that. But yeah, this is awesome. This is like a tank basically. Kind of reminds me of the early like drawings up of tanks. Was it Da Vinci? I think it was Da Vinci that made drawings of what would have been like the first tank, although they never got made. Kind of reminds me of that. But yeah, now I'm going to go on to the Screaming Bell, which I was not aware was created by Clan Skryre.
The great battle of the plain hereabouts, the turning of the armies of the Empire. To a man, we all sensed that something was amiss that day, something unnatural. Fear where there were fearlessness, a weakening of iron resolve. Brave men, great swords true, quailed and broke rank, sowing shame and enmity amongst their allies.
Hey, so that's a extract from Sir Vogel, an Imperial Greatsword, which are heavily elite units of the Empire that carry two-handed swords. If you're watching this, you've probably played Warhammer Total War, so you know who they are. They're an elite unit in that, the two-handed sword-wielding guys, and is describing some battle in which a screaming bell was used against his men, and it lowered their morale, and with its bewitching trickery, I will say, and caused them to run away. This really harks back to the Doom of Kavzar, or Kazvar. I always don't know which way to pronounce it, where the V and where the Z is, but if you look back to that video, it's probably one of my best videos. I recall you and I regale you and recall that legend. But this kind of comes up in this story, and if you've heard it, you'll know that this is kind of an ongoing theme throughout Skaven history. From their inception is the bell, and they seem to have some kind of sanctity of the bell. And So yeah, when this bell tolls, it's an ever-present symbol of the creation legend of the Skaven race, the Doom of Kavzar. And it's from these unholy altars that the Grey Seers preach their plans for total domination. I can only guess that these bells are tolling in groups of 13 rings, if you know what I'm saying. And they just spread absolute dread in the enemy. These relics were cast in the hellish warp forges deep beneath the city of Skavenblight, using bronze alloy laced with pure warpstone to create the bell itself. The Warlock engineers of Clan Skryre were the ones who aided in the casting of the bell, joining alongside the Grey Seers in a 13-day ritual. So these bells are made magically with this 13-day ritual alongside the Grey Seers, who are the wizards of the Horned Rat. And they are made using a chittering incantation the whole time, blessing it with the Horned Rat's evil magic, and put runes in the metal, and they coat it in sacrificial blood in order to cool the metal. You know how when you see blacksmiths in films and stuff, they'll hammer away at the metal when it's hot and soft, and then they'll go tss. They do that with sacrificial blood to cool it. Once forged, the bell is installed upon a wooden carriage drawn forward by a horde of fanatical followers and a great rat ogre to ring it. Rumour has it that some piece of the great tower of Kavzar is incorporated into each screaming bell, be it a chunk of masonry or some small part of the horned bell that sits within the tallest tower of the Temple of the Horned Rat. In battle, the ominous tolling of the bell resounds above the clamour of the fighting, a message of death to foes, but a declaration of supremacy to all Skaven. The deafening sound drives the Skaven hordes into a reckless frenzy, hardening their craven hearts they definitely have craven hearts to feats of uncommon savagery. This is crazy. To those that are attuned to the Horned Rat, each toll gives out one single worded message: Doom. So yeah, on the battlefield of a Total War game, this is definitely going to be some kind of like relic unit. Much like the Piece of the True Cross in medieval Total War 2. You wheel it along, and I think as well as giving a huge morale buff to... huge as in like far-ranging morale buff to your army, this should also give a morale debuff to your enemy, and perhaps even some stat bonuses to your own army as well. You're probably going to want to defend this with your most elite units as well. And possibly it should even have a special ability that gives you stat bonuses or something, just so it doesn't just give you this constant OP aura all the time. But this will be an awesome unit, and it's going to be tempting to take this in all of my armies once they get to that big size. You're going to need stuff like this to increase the leadership of your armies anyway, especially if you're trying to do anything with infantry, because Skaven got that notoriously low morale, and something like this is going to increase the effectiveness of your units a whole lot. Because Skaven aren't actually that bad at fighting, it's just this, their fatal flaw really is the fact that they're cowardly and don't trust enough in each other to behave as a proper unit. So this really will pay dividends. Anything that's going to make your clan rats stand and face your enemy really will pay off, because they are actually not much, not far behind humans in combat prowess, and far cheaper, so will greatly outnumber them. Okay, well I've put quite a few hours into this video at this point, and I'm feeling like I'm rambling a little bit too much, but let me know what you think of this. It's turning out to be fucking long, but I'll make a part 2 eventually on the other clans, but I think I've done enough at this point, and I'm just going to ramble myself into a autism meltdown if I carry on at the minute. So I'm just going to round off with a little quote from a character from the Warhammer world.
Whatever the truth of the canon, it is clear that Skaven weapon technology is far, far beyond that of the Empire, and even beyond that of the dwarfs. The sole mercy of this is that they still lack much attention to craftsmanship, and these terrifying weapons are extremely unreliable. In a sweet irony, they do more damage to their ratman wielders often than they do to their enemies.